Derbyshire Traffic Cops.
Does it just have warning markers for potential firearms?
Turn over! You're under arrest. Attempt supply class A drug. Police 1,000 square miles.
It's a crash.
You got any other injury other than your head?
With some of the UK's most dangerous roads.
How nobody's been killed out of this, I don't know.
Do you know how fast you were going?
It's scary when stuff like this happens.
In life and death situations.
Get on the ground, you retain it! We've got runners.
Face down!
Yes, successful state.
Around every corner.
It's a great acting, mate.
There's a new challenge for the Traffic Cops.
Step out of the vehicle now!
Stay there.
Stop grabbing me like that. The RAs are high.
Coming up,
It's a crash. It's a crash.
repeat offenders.
I got banned when I was 17. I got done for drink driving after 130.
Opposite carriageway.
Thieves on the run.
There's definitely something in there. It's the heat source. Keeps moving.
And suspects desperate to get away.
Down on the floor now! Now! Down on the floor! Down on the floor! Now! Just pass the vehicle details again, please, mate.
It's a black Audi A4.
10 miles north of Derby. Sergeant Scott Riley is racing to catch up with a repeat offender.
Yes.
It's now travelling towards us.
So we've got the report of a drink driver. We've got good information as to where he is, so I'm going to try and intercept him. I'm quite keen to get this one because I know he's a banned driver. An 804.
Yep.
Any update?
Heading towards us.
Yes, should run straight into us. Those individuals that are repeat offending are taking nearly all of the police's time. You're dealing with the same people that are still drink driving the year after they've been caught drink driving, or even sometimes 2 or 3 days after they've been caught drink driving. Police are dealing with those same individuals time and time again. It should come straight in front of me. Contact with that vehicle held at lights. When you are dealing with an offender like this, who's been through the system a lot, is already banned from driving for drink driving and failing to stop, the likelihood is he's going to fail to stop again. I'm going to go for a compliant stop, and if that doesn't work, have a colleague to deploy Stinger. And it is a offside indication. I know he knows I'm behind him. Be aware he's dragging me around. Yeah, speed's slightly increasing. Both of our speeds increase simultaneously. Position for the offside, and it's left, back towards where it's come from. And 8 Tango Sierra 4, vehicles failing to stop. DRAs are low at this time. Can I have a Stinger, please? DRAs are high. It's a crash. It's a crash. Chris, look after the member of the public. Where's he gone? Yeah, it's total loss. I do now know that he'll do anything to get away, so my motivation levels to catch this offender have just gone through the roof, and there is nothing I want more than to catch him. There's going to be quite some substantial damage to that vehicle. Is that driver okay, Chris?
Yes. Hello, can you get the recovery, please?
Thank God there's no injuries to the member of the public. Where has he gone? Where has he gone?
Are you sure we've got a direction trouble?
As Scott continues searching for the driver, control updates.
A vehicle has crashed through some fences into a garden. I don't know whether this could be related to the same vehicle.
Yeah, we've also had a call saying they've heard a big crash and the driver was running off. When he got to the top of the road, he ran down the estate.
So I believe he's just headed westbound. Description of
found abandoned in somebody's garden. No, I never saw it. I've driven straight past that. That's why I've not seen it. It's in the garden. Mate, no wonder, because I just went straight off.
He's got black trousers,
Yep.
trainers on, black t-shirt, he's about
Yeah.
with beard, short black hair.
And which way did he go?
He walked straight that way.
Okay.
All right.
Stay there, pal. Stay there, pal. My arms out.
What's the off?
Mate, you just match the description of somebody that I'm looking for, alright? Just stop there. Yes, full male detained. Down from where you were.
Oh, I resisted.
No, you're not resisting, mate. It's all good. You're under arrest, suspicion of drink driving, failing to stop at the scene of an accident, and dangerous driving. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your friend, not make you in question, something which you later on in court.
Colleagues arrive as backup.
It's really important for your safety if you've got any injuries
Injuries from what?
from the high-speed crash that you've just been in.
I've not been in no crash, man. If I say I've got injuries, take me to hospital, that's me admitting I've been in a crash.
No, I'm not interviewing you. What I'm saying is, if you need an ambulance, now is the time to tell me. If you feel that you need taken to hospital for any injuries that I cannot see, now is the time to tell me. That's not admitting guilt, that's just telling me that you need some medical attention.
No, it is happening to me.
I'm not interviewing you here and now, we're going to get you in the car. Alright. Lee's, the member of the public's not injured.
With the suspect on his way to custody,
That is an excellent result.
Scott heads back to the crash scene.
I'm so glad we've got him. The damage that is caused to this person's property, the damage that is caused to that member of the public's car, all started from an incident where he's probably caused some harm. So it's a really pleasing result for me. I'm now interested to see what this car's going to look like. The accidents happened just up there in them roadworks, and the skid mark has come all the way across here. So literally it's been out of control all the way down here. You can see it from here. In fact, you can see it all the way, that tyre mark. Well, that's a really massive impact straight through this concrete fence. Fortunately, it's missed the house. It's fortunate where it's hit that member of the public, it's engine block to engine block. If that had been an impact straight into the side, that could have killed that member of the public. If it had not been wearing his seatbelt, it'd have easily killed himself. It's ridiculous. And it really frustrates me because it's all totally unnecessary. Custody for us. In terms of dangerous driving, to get away from the police, that's one of the worst that I've seen. He could have killed somebody there quite easily. We need to do everything we can do now to stop him being released and stop him being allowed to drive the vehicle again.
Coming up,
You must be Derbyshire's most unluckiest criminal.
I'm not a criminal.
back at custody,
Ambulance has been called.
there's a medical emergency.
You had a drink tonight, chap?
No, mate.
No. At least that's something.
And a wanted suspect
You're putting the cell overnight. For what? For what?
won't come quietly.
I ain't done no wrong. I'm not no criminal.
Any sudden movements, and we will
doing
use
that.
force, okay?
Listen to what I'm going to say to you. I'm further arresting you for disqualified driving.
Have you got any proof?
I've actually found out that you're disqualified now, so we'll just interview you about the driving later.
There's no proof, no, is there?
I'm not going to interview you here and now.
Yeah,
It's not for me to interview you now, is it? That's what interviews are for when you've got a solicitor later. I'll get somebody now from the night shift.
Sergeant Scott Riley is dealing with the driver suspected of failing to stop
The RAs are high! The RAs are high! This a crash!
and crashed into a garden.
So now I've got a lot of work to do. I've got half an hour of my shift left, and in that time I've got to hand the job over to the next sergeant that's coming on. And then I've got to do my arrest statement, get all the paperwork sorted. I've got to download all the video from my police vehicle, because that'll be needed for evidence. Download my body-worn video, so let's go and crack on and do it.
While Scott prepares his report,
I didn't chap, all right.
Traffic Officer Craig Dawes is starting a day shift and is booking in the suspect.
I'm not going to.
Just sit us there, pal. I'll have a seat to you.
I've tried staying out of trouble, but 2 weeks in a row now I've been here. Someone reported me for drink driving last week, and I was sat at home. I'm been a good boy. I'm on the suspended sentence. It's what I didn't do.
You're unlucky, you are, aren't you? You must be Derbyshire's most unluckiest criminal.
I'm not a criminal.
Just surprised me how cocky he is. His kind of carefree attitude that he's not bothered of what he's just done or what he's caused or the risks he's taken. It just appeared to be a game to him, and he, in his opinion, he was going to be home in a few hours. He'd done nothing wrong. Quite shocking.
Come in, up we go.
Failed to stop, dangerous driving, leaving scene of an accident, and Section 4 unfit through drink or drugs, and disqualified driving.
I've heard the officer's explanation as to why you're here. In a minute, you have any possible illness to you just take up pain inside your chest. Would you do that? Yeah.
It was clear to see that he got injuries, what coincided with being inside a car when it had crashed. But he was adamant that he'd not been in any car, he'd not been in any crash.
Alcoholic?
Not yet.
Dependent?
No.
So the seat's on there. Have you done one of these before?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's only going in the red end on there.
I got banned when I was 17, a week before my test. I got done for drink driving at 130.
Okay then, pal. Then come over, stand up next to me. Keep going, 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 keep going. Nice one, mate. Take a seat.
Beautiful.
59.54. Are you disappointed on that one?
Normally it's high 90s. That's quite bad, that.
Hold on, again.
59.54. The legal limit for drink driving is 35. As a force we prosecute of 14 above, so it's still well over. And it's been some time since he's been arrested. As he says, he's had several pints, bottle of rum and stuff. He's been quite open with that. Obviously, speaking to him and having some interaction with him, he's spent some time in custody for driving offences, so he knows the score.
My worry, because he's so laid back and so cocky with this, is he just going to carry on doing it? At some point, he's either going to kill himself or kill somebody else, and that's my concern.
Do you want to come this way, mate? T-shirt, if you don't mind. Tea, 2 sugars, couple of water.
Biscuits?
And a chicken curry.
A chicken curry?
Chicken curry.
Get somebody who's been in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. They don't care. They've got nothing to lose. It's a day in the office for them, and it is quite sad to see that state of affairs.
The suspected driver has now said that he's injured, and an ambulance has been called.
Once he tells us he's feeling the pain, we've got a duty of care to make sure that he receives the best treatment that we can.
The injuries he's complaining about are the ones that we say consistent with a road traffic collision.
It's not uncommon for our regular offenders to fake injury. They know they'd rather spend 24 or 48 hours in a nice warm hospital bed rather than a plastic mat and a cell in Ripley custody. But this lad, the impact he'd suffered in that car, I think it was quite clear that he wasn't faking any injuries and he was in a mess. We don't know if he got internal bleeding, head injuries. He was refusing to tell us simply because he didn't want to implicate himself in that crash. The chances are we will probably meet again now. Hopefully not, because I'm hoping that he may be, serving some time in prison.
Catching habitual offenders on the run is a daily challenge for officers like Scott Riley.
We've just seen a Range Rover Evoque on the traffic cameras where the driver's wanted for a domestic burglary. At the same time, we want this chap for assaulting his partner. So it's a good opportunity to get him detained while he's driving a car.
It's Abelard with Tia's forced entry into the property. Russell's with her for her phone, so she can't phone police, and then has left.
It's quite often that we come across repeat offenders in domestics. It's quite often that we get called to the same households, the same couples, the same victims. What's the location of this vehicle now, please?
Heading check on direction, will you?
should be at 4 by the time you get there. A local unit's got behind it, so we're making some ground to give the local officers some support. And then obviously if it fails to stop, we're in an appropriate vehicle where we could deal with that. If you come towards willing to try and put a stop in prior, I'll be at that pull-in, I'll try and get a stinger out to receive.
We're heading towards Hilton now.
Yeah, so it's away from Williams, yeah. So I'll just try to get in a position to put a stinger out. Should it fail to stop, but then it turned the other way. Oh, we've got it stopped.
You stop, we've got it, and I'll detect.
I'll arrest you in a bit, because you don't say anything, you may on better, you know what I mean? And later on in court, if you do so, maybe give evidence.
How can I burgle my own house? Get my wallet.
I don't know
look
the
at the address
details
on
of
it.
this burglary.
You had a drink tonight, chap?
No, me. Breathalyse me.
Excellent work. At least that's something.
This is mad. The address is on the driving licence.
I would like to remind you, having arrested you are under caution, so I recommend not talking about it.
The necessity for the arrest is prompt investigation, showing an interview around it, and protection of the vulnerable individual in question.
She is manipulative, lying.
We'll jump out of the car then. We'll get you in the staff.
We'll have to get your details around to
Yeah, that's fine.
You ain't got a manhandle me. I'm not arrested, am I?
Just make
No,
up
just stop, because this is bullshit. And you banging me up overnight. You're going to put me in the cell overnight.
have the
For what?
opportunity
For
to
what?
be in-
I ain't done no wrong. I'm not no criminal. I was going to my brother's house out of the way.
Okay, I do need to change the
Yeah, but
handbook.
you-
Any sudden movement, and we will use force, okay?
Offenders sometimes think whoever shouts the loudest will be heard. And it's not uncommon to hear how they've been treated or hear how it's not their fault. Why is the other person the bad person? But you're only getting one side of the story. But what I do know with this individual is he's making it all about him.
You've been arrested for assault.
On what?
Willington. On your
Willington.
partner. On his partner's phone.
With the suspect detained, cops search his car for the victim's phone.
We can just seize any phone that's in there, can't we? Then we can sort it out. Any phones that are in there, because we don't know exactly what it is.
There's no phone, but there are other suspicious items.
Right, because we found a grinder in your car, and because of how you're behaving, I suspect that you're under the influence of some controlled substance, some drug. Okay, so what I want you to do is actually provide me a specimen of saliva, so you're not going to give us a sample. Listen to me. Yeah.
Look into my eyes. Would you not be angry if you was getting arrested for burglary on your own
Oh,
house?
but you're also acting like somebody that's under the influence of drugs.
Do my eyes look like I'm under the influence of drugs?
They do actually, yeah.
No, they don't.
Will you provide a sample of saliva for analysis? Hello? Hello?
What time did you arrest him?
Are you willing to give me a sample of saliva for the purpose of screening, see if you've got cannabis or cocaine in your system, yes or no?
No, I'm not giving you a sample.
You're not giving me a sample. Okay, right. Just listen to this officer then. He's going to arrest you for that offence.
So under arrest, fails to provide specimen of saliva for that drug swipe, alright? That's along with the burglary you've already been arrested for.
Lovely. Given his behaviour tonight, I've got every confidence that he will behave in the cells like he's behaved with me at the roadside, and he won't provide. And I know why he won't do the drug swipe. He stinks of it in there, it's definitely absolutely. Those individuals need to be dealt with a lot harsher. Thanks for that, no problem. The first time that somebody comes into the system and into police contact and through the court system, in an ideal world, that should be the last. But the reality is quite different.
Coming up,
Prepare for a come here.
danger on the motorway
Opposite carriageway.
as another repeat offender
He's still trying to make his way through the brambles.
is desperate to avoid arrest. And
The sergeant's got behind a suspicious vehicle.
tracking down seasoned criminals.
You run off, you're riding down there.
If they hadn't done anything wrong, they wouldn't be wandering off.
Some people don't like police, that's all it is.
Traffic Officer Matt Cooling is on patrol, targeting repeat offenders stealing from heavy goods vehicles.
And 8 Tango 29.
Tango 29, go ahead.
There's a possible clone going south on the motorway, LV07. Can you just have a look at it? Are you able to tell if it is the clone or not? What's the make and model, please? It is a problem for Derbyshire. We've got lots of arterial routes, airports, we've got lots of vehicles that are transporting lots of goods, that ultimately become a target for these sorts of people.
Matt's following a suspected stolen truck.
Bit of an APR hit on the motorway of a vehicle that's travelling south. It's potentially a cloned vehicle. If someone's cloning a HGV, in my mind that's simply a red flag. It's probably part of an organised gang that are going out each night, stealing from lorries in and around the country and taking stolen goods back to where they come from. This lorry that's ahead of us now, when we've checked ANPR, it's just raising the suspicions that it might be the dodgy lorry.
As Matt follows the truck, control updates.
Looking at the plate images, appears to be a clone. Suspected it's a vehicle involving theft of high-value goods from HGVs.
Yeah, understood. I've got behind the vehicle. I've followed it for a short distance while I've done some checks and quite happy then that it is the clone I'm dealing with. I'm very conscious that I'm by myself when I'm dealing with these vehicles. There's a lot of unknowns, I don't know who's driving it, could be stolen, so there's lots of ambiguity and you've just got to be aware of that. There's only south units in here, one.
As other units join the chase,
Definitely.
Matt tries to slow the truck down.
Might try and ram his way out.
The best option.
Put the lights on to try and stop it. It's not complying. It's not reacted. I just got the feeling there was something not right.
Yeah, this vehicle definitely fairly stopped.
Any pursuit is dangerous, but ones that involve HGVs in particular really do raise the stakes. It's a bigger vehicle and it's much more difficult to stop than a car. Because of the size of it, it could quite easily ram us out of the way.
Prepare for a decamp here.
With the officers closing in,
opposite carriageway.
The suspect makes a run for it.
It is a complete shock to see something like that. I've got to think, I've got to react very quickly. I'll get around, fella, get a block on. To try and warn the other traffic or to deal with the aftermath if, this person gets hit. It is a heart-in-hand sort of moment.
As Matt races to the other side of the motorway, the hunt is on for the runaway suspect.
Got the motorway held behind us for safety. We've just got cops just on the southbound carriageway at the minute, and they're just searching the woodland.
A drone is sent up to help with the search.
There's definitely something in there if the heat source keeps moving. Is that where we're stood now? Yeah, you're directly with it. Right where you are.
With nowhere to hide.
Keep coming, mate. When you get to this railing, what I'd do is I'd stand on railing if I were you.
The suspect hands himself in.
Yeah, stand up where you are. No, not like that. You're going to have to stand up at some point, mate. It's exactly the same all around you. It's going to be shit for you. Just stand up.
These people just don't care. They don't care what aftermath they leave behind, what damage they cause, or who they hurt. Abandoning the vehicle in a live lane of the motorway is extremely dangerous. It's a recipe for disaster. In my mind, it's just selfishness. They just want to get away. That is their primary goal.
Just confirming the transport for this male. You're going to be southbound carriageway, is that correct?
Yes, just he's still trying to make his way through the brambles. Thank you.
I've cleared some steps for you, mate. Because I'm like that. Yeah, mate, about a whip bag off. Yeah. You're under arrest for theft of motor vehicle and theft of some tyres.
This sort of crime is rife, up and down the country. I've seen what's in the back of the lorry, and it's quite evident that they've had a good night. There are tens of thousands of pounds worth of premium tyres that have been stolen.
You don't have to say anything about your defence. You don't mention when questions raised tonight court. Anything you do say may be given evidence and necessity for your arrest for a prompt and effective investigation. Just search your pockets, mate.
The suspect is a disqualified driver and repeat offender with over 20 previous convictions.
We need to get him moved. Make it immediate, please. Because we're on a motorway and there's a danger of us being killed.
He's sort of the modern day highwayman, travelling the roads, nicking what they can to sell for profit. Just got to work and, like the rest of us, and, earn a living.
As the suspect is taken away for questioning, the abandoned stolen truck is recovered and the motorway reopened. Freight crime costs the UK economy around £420 million a year, with organised gangs targeting service stations on motorways.
Tango 25. Just confirm exactly where the sergeant is, please.
Traffic cop Martin Carter is responding to a call for help.
Yeah, this vehicle's about 5 up and get some back up.
So the sergeant's got behind a suspicious vehicle and he's asked for some backup. So that's what we're travelling to.
Just off the M1, Sergeant Neil Hopwell has stopped a suspicious car.
Off at 29, first exit to Plate Cross.
When you're outnumbered, particularly 4 or 5 to 1, it's very dangerous and it can go very wrong. A lot of people we deal with don't like the police, and the reason they don't like the police is because they've been caught doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing.
You won't get anywhere that way, mate. Somebody like to scare us something. Or usually when they do something wrong. The thing is, if they're walking off, it makes them suspicious, so they'll get stopped anyway.
The vehicle's come off the motorway and it's got 5 people in it. Apparently 3 of them have run off.
Whose car is it then?
Mine.
Yours, is it? Right, so jump in the back of my motor, mate.
Yeah.
So I've arrived on scene and the sergeant's got the driver in the back of his car and there's a passenger stood at the side of the road.
So what I'm saying is, at 3 o'clock in the morning, what are you using this vehicle for now in connection with your business then?
For a rundown, motorway.
Have you got some evidence that that's your motor in your possession then?
No, not yet.
No? How long got it then?
Since tea time.
There's one stood here, one's gone in through the bushes over here, the other 2 walked down to 29.
How come your mates have run off then or scarpered?
I don't know, you're son, the human beings, I don't know what they know.
What brings you out at this time of night?
I can come out any time of night, can't I?
Of course you can, yeah. You got any ID with you, fella?
I haven't, no, I can give you my name.
What's your first name, sir? You ever been in trouble with the police before?
Roughly, about 10 maybe over years.
Take it it's not your car?
My friend's.
Alright. You're going with him when he's finished?
Yeah. Some people don't like police, that's all it is. You know, that's all it is.
Just a bit odd, innit? Like,
I don't know.
it's a police car.
I don't know. I can't tell people what to do.
No, I get that. But ultimately, from our perspective,
No, but yeah, of course I understand you.
a police car's stopped and the people that are in it have wandered off, like, instantly. People don't just run away in the dead of night in a county that they're not familiar with if they've done nothing wrong. If you have done nothing wrong, stop and have a conversation with us, and if everything checks out, you'll be on your way. No issues.
You're bail at the minute?
Yeah.
What for?
Going equipped, I think.
It's not my spider sense, it's not that far off then, not it?
The sergeant's talking to the driver. I've checked one of the passenger's details, and he's not done anything wrong, so we'll wait and see what happens with the driver. It can be incredibly frustrating when you know they're up to no good. They know they're up to no good, but what we can prove is a different matter. I think at the minute the driver has got some conditions and a curfew which he may be in breach of. So the sergeant's just checking if he is in breach, and if he is, then he might be getting arrested.
Local officers arrived to help search for the 3 men who walked off.
All I can tell you is the sergeant, who's in this car, was behind this car. He's followed it up here as the car's pulled in. 3 of the passengers ran off through the bushes down towards junction 29. You can float round the roundabout and have a look if you want. Yeah. Just to see if there's anyone milling around. Yeah, nice one. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. We have issues with lorries being broken into at service stations. You can't help but think that if they hadn't done anything wrong, they wouldn't be wandering off.
Let's just be decent about it.
Oh, the sergeant's found another one.
One of the suspects that ran off has been spotted in nearby bushes.
You've run off, you're riding down there. Alright, so I'm going to be searching you. Okay, to make sure you've got nothing on you that you can hurt me or my colleagues. Alright? Have you got drugs on you?
No, nothing, mate.
Have you been smoking weed?
A bit, yeah.
Yeah, have you got any weed on you now? Because I can smell it on you. Alright, you've been detained for the purpose of search. Search for drugs at this time, and if you've got anything on you that might hurt us or any of my colleagues. Alright?
Sergeant's just found another one hiding in the bushes. He's just doing a stop search. Where's your mate's gone?
I've done anything, mate. Literally, if I wanted to get wet, I'd have walked off that house.
We're now going to go and search the vehicle under section 1 of PACE, just to see if there's any items for going equipped to steal. Empty. Nothing in there at all. We've not found anything untoward in the vehicle. Yes, it's suspicious circumstances based on what's been witnessed and how these men have acted, that they've ran off. One was found hiding in the bushes across the road. But ultimately, if we don't find them in possession of anything and there's nothing stolen in the car, I imagine they'll be on their way very shortly.
Okay, I'm just waiting to see what we need to do with regards to your breach of your bail.
What, it's still breach when you're not in that county?
Yeah, of course it is. You're on curfew, aren't you? Curfew means you stop in, that's it. Because you're not on bail for one force, are you? You're on bail for a few.
As Sergeant Hotwell continues with background checks on the detained man, news comes in from officers searching nearby.
Apparently the local officers that went to find the other two have found the other two. I'm not sure of the outcome yet, but I'm sure their details will be checked. And I imagine they'll be sent on their way, because we can't prove that they've committed any offences tonight. But we are aware of this vehicle, it's on the radar, and I'm sure some intelligence will be updated on police systems to say what activity it's been up to tonight.
Another suspect has been found by local officers.
Where did you find him?
He was heading towards Stone Lake around there. You know where the cabin is?
Yeah.
They've just went back and out.
One man is still at large, but for now, the cops turn their attention back to the car.
Just having a quick look at the plate. So as you can see, it's got this film on it, on the front. And ordinarily, it wouldn't have that. So that's effectively what we'd call a ghost plate, and they put that on to avoid detection. Another tactic used by people out committing crime on the roads, and obviously that just confirms it. So, yeah, good spot from the sergeant.
As Martin helps search for the remaining suspect, there's an update.
So, this minute in time, Search is Greater Manchester Police are on bail for. Okay, and they want you arrested for being in breach of bail conditions.
The sergeant's arrested the driver. He is in breach of his curfew, and I imagine he'll be off to the nearest custody suite. Freight crime is a massive problem, not only in Derbyshire, but up and down the country. It costs billions of pounds to the industry every year. Criminals will travel up and down the motorway and the A roads, targeting heavy goods vehicles, tear curtains open, looking to steal loot, steal it, put it in a cloned wagon, drive it off. The M1 is obviously the main arterial route that criminals will use. We all, as police forces, have to try and work together to try and stop them.
Coming up, traffic cops follow a suspicious car.
Vehicle is currently failing to stop.
And bring down a runaway suspect.
Down the floor now! Now! Down the floor! Down on the floor! Now!
Hey, look how busy Derby is from 20 to 9 at night. It's very busy, up until 2 in the morning.
Traffic cop Chris Wells Jackson is halfway through a night shift.
Someone's having a haircut at 3 in the morning, we come up on the lap. It's mad, it's just a cultural thing that people are awake at that time, aren't they?
2 miles away, on the outskirts of Derby, a colleague is tailing a suspicious car.
Vehicle is currently failing to stop. Left. Our performance, one of our vehicles, advanced driver, pursuit management team penetrate.
To think that you've got a colleague that's chasing that vehicle on his own, the first thing in my mind is I need to get to him as quickly as possible to make sure that he's safe.
Your target speed is 20.
Why is this person failing to stop? There's no markers on the vehicle, pretty much a brand new car. There's something not right with it.
Aim to speed one. Left. Onto the roundabout. Walk road. Stand by.
Let me on nothing, Eddie. Someone to my vehicle. They're down the floor now! Danger! Down the floor now! Now! Down the floor! Down on the floor! Now! Down on the floor! Hands behind your back!
Males at taser point, stand by. Give me your hands now! Don't reach! Do not reach! There's not in cuffs. Get someone to me, don't! Do not reach! If that hand moves towards your waist, mate, you're gonna get tasered. You understand? You're under arrest, failing to stop. Dangerous driving. Do not move. 2 feet. Don't reach for anything. Walk with me. Walk.
4986.
For God's sake, he's not been searched, Twiney. Keeps wanting to reach. Keeps wanting to reach to his front. What do you keep reaching into your waistband for? What? What do you keep reaching into your waistband for? I was checking if I had my phone. That's why you had your phone in your hand, mate. Don't give me that. I put it in my pocket and outside. I've got it.
He's mouthing off.
Man, I don't want to record him, bro. Man.
Hey, just get recovery, please. Causing obstruction. You either get somebody that knows the game's up, they come quietly, or you get the complete opposite. Shouting, abuse, resistance. We very quickly get him under control. We then need to start making sure that we get the evidence that we need as to why this person's failed to stop.
What are you looking for?
Where have you got your?
Well, there's drugs in the vehicle. Don't
And
want
it
it.
is.
Yeah. It's illegal.
Quite a lot of action here as well.
Come on, you're ready to get in the car.
Initially, Dan's picked this vehicle up, and then once it's got to this junction here, for whatever reason, he's abandoned it in the middle of the road and ran off. I would hazard a guess that he probably lives somewhere nearby, or he knows somebody that lives nearby, and he was going to that address to try and get away and hide. But Dan's been quick enough to catch him, brought him back to the vehicle. There's a small amount of drugs in it, a bit of cannabis, a bit of cash.
Because we found cannabis in the vehicle, I'm going to request you to provide a very short drug test for the presence of cannabis. Stick your tongue out for me, please, mate. I've got to watch his tongue.
The test will take around 8 minutes.
He's quite low level, he's not got a massive quantity on him.
As the man has previously been banned from the roads for driving without insurance, officers run more checks.
Whose is this vehicle? Uncle's. He says it's his uncle's. Right, he's got a full licence.
You got keys in still?
A search of the car raises further suspicions.
It's a rental, mate.
It's the same person that keeps renting it out. Looking at it, he's checked the car out on the 25th of May this year. And the lease is to run until the 29th of August. So it looks like, unless he's had any more paperwork, he's not returned it on time. Just insured as a rental as well.
That's him. That's him. That's him.
But it's a different person on the policy for the lease of this.
Yeah.
So
He's got no insurance.
no insurance. I think.
We'll have it as a 165 for no insurance until we can prove otherwise, because at the moment, obviously, the documentation's out of date. So the vehicle's going to be recovered under Section 165 of the Road Traffic Act because the chap driving it wasn't insured. He's been taken off to custody for failing to stop, dangerous driving, and also some small drug drive as well. Just waiting on the results coming back for that now, so we shall crack on, get it recovered. It is really common for criminals to use rented vehicles to commit crime because it doesn't directly trace back to them, so they would generally get somebody to take that car out, and it wouldn't necessarily be that person that drives it. It would be driven by anybody that wants to use it for criminality. Obviously the inquiries that we need to make in the daylight are just to get confirmation of who the actual owner of the vehicle is, who the leaser of the vehicle is, and did this chap have permission and insurance to drive it. At the moment it looks like he didn't.
Nearly a third of all offenders released from custody go on to re-offend.
My bugbear's being a traffic officer that we tend to find the same people committing the same offences.
The people that we do intercept and arrest always tend to have a history of offences, not just traffic offences, but burglary, theft. I think you'd do well to stop someone that's in a stolen vehicle that's not known to the police.
I don't think they take it serious. They laugh and joke to you when you deal with them. You know, they'll even say sometimes, oh, we'll be back out in 12 hours' time, or we'll see you this time next week.
It's really sad that we spend the majority of our time dealing with those same individuals, because if those same individuals were in prison where they should be, then that would free our time up to be more proactive. But we're spending a lot of our time dealing with the same people in the custody suites and putting them back before the same courts.
In this episode, the suspect driver who collided with a member of the public and crashed into someone's front garden.
Fortunately, it's missed the house.
Is awaiting trial for dangerous, drunk, disqualified and uninsured driving.
You're alcoholic? Oh yeah.
If found guilty, he's likely to be sent back to prison. The wanted male was prosecuted for driving whilst disqualified and with no insurance, and received 6 points and a £630 fine.
No, I'm not giving you a sample.
You're not giving me a sample?
Do my eyes look like I'm on the anti-influence drugs?
They do actually, yeah.
No action was taken for any drug driving offences or the alleged burglary and assault. The suspect who fled from a rental car.
Down on the floor! Now! Down on the floor! Hands behind your back!
Is on police bail for failing to stop, dangerous driving, no insurance, possession of cannabis, and driving whilst unfit through drugs. The serial thief who abandoned a stolen lorry on the M1,
opposite carriageway,
with a load full of stolen tyres, admitted dangerous, disqualified and uninsured driving, and a breach of a suspended sentence.
You're under arrest for theft of motor vehicle and theft of some tyres.
He was jailed for 18 months. And the man arrested for breaching a curfew.
Well, it's still breach when you're not in that county.
Yeah, of course it is. You've got curfew, haven't you? Curfew means you stop in, that's it.
Is currently on police bail, awaiting a court appearance.